Hey everybody, welcome back to the Basement Shop. It's February 29th, 2020, Saturday, and it was about a week ago, last Sunday, I headed out to a pick out near Boston. This was a Facebook Marketplace find. It had mentioned, I forget what it mentioned, some machinist tools, and then there were some pictures of just some other unusual things. And that led me to making an appointment and heading out there, and I ended up coming back with quite a few nice items. So we're going to go through those right now. I actually hope I'm going to be able to get back out to that site one more time. After I left that day during the week, he had a couple other individuals come in and buy a few more items that I would have liked to have gotten on the first trip through. And the plan was for me to go back out yesterday, and that got fouled up because he wasn't able to meet me at the location. He does cleanouts in estates, and he's liquidating this estate for somebody. The gentleman, I guess, who owned all of this stuff passed away, is my understanding of the situation. He probably was a pretty interesting guy because there was a lot of really unusual stuff there too, not just machinist tools, but there was a lot of electronic test equipment. A lot of it was a lot older. But a lot of it was really stuff that was really probably top notch back in the day, like back in the 60s and 70s, but now would be kind of outdated, outmoded. Without further ado, let's jump right in and take a look at some of this stuff. It was kind of a mishmash of different things there. There was some, cheap Chinese stuff, and then there was some good quality stuff that might have been really old. But still was in good functional condition, and then there was just some old stuff there that was not really worth anything. Some of the stuff had prices on it, like this was marked for $5, which is what I ended up paying for it. Some of the other things had prices on them that were really high, and he had explained to me that apparently the person who owned the estate, the widow, she had somebody else in there before him that was helping her liquidate the estate, and I'm not sure exactly why. Of course, this new estate guy said that he believed that she was getting ripped off. I don't know. Long story short, he's now in charge and was telling me not to worry about the prices that were on some of these labels because some of them were pretty exorbitant, which is why the stuff was still sitting there, even though apparently they had been trying to liquidate this estate for a while. But this here I gave the $5 for. It's just a cheap Chinese-made import, no-name, small hole gauge set. But it's in excellent condition. It's got like the satin chrome finish, handles on it. So I figured, what the heck. I'll probably put that up on my page. And I'll see if we can't get $10 for it. Not every day you can make 100% on something, but might sit there and nobody wants it for 10. Who knows? It was sitting at this place for $5 for quite a while, and nobody grabbed it. So next up, this is I tried to get this indicator for $10, but he held fast at 15, so I ended up having to pay 15 for this. And normally, I've got a couple of Ames indicators that I just kind of like the looks of, so I'm keeping them in my collection of indicators. But normally a regular Ames drop indicator like this doesn't really get me too excited, and unless I'm getting it really cheap, like for $10. I went the extra $5 on this one because it's got the original box with it, which is a plus, and it seems like it's had very, very little use, if any. There's just a little bit of, stuff there on the chrome. Looks like that might clean up, but it looks like there is just a ghost outline that indicates it was maybe clamped at one point, but I don't think this saw much use at all. You can see how clean the back is, the point, and it works perfectly. So that's a nice little indicator, but I'm probably going to resell that. I don't really think I want to save that one. Oh, so the other thing that's kind of neat about Ames, which is why I always liked them, was because these were made right in Waltham, Massachusetts. I think the company might still be in business today. The third item, I can't remember if I paid 20 or 25 for this. is a Mitutoyo 5 to 6 inch micrometer. This is one of these of this style here that has the counter, so you can read direct reading. You can take direct readings to the 10,000th of an inch, which is kind of neat. So, well, actually, technically, that's not correct. In reality, it's thousandths of an inch, direct reading to thousandths of an inch, and then you've got the vernier up here for the 10,000ths of an inch. But anyways, I'm toying with the idea of trying to make a set of these. I know I have a couple of these now, and then I ended up starting to pick up some of those Brown and Sharps that have the same kind of feature. So I haven't decided yet which way I'm going to go on this. I got to check right now and see if I've got this size. If I don't have this size, I'll probably keep it for now. If I do have this size, I'll keep the better of the two and sell one. Well, one of my customers is going to be in luck. I will be able to sell this one because I already have this same exact one. Oh yeah, this has got the damaged on the back here. It's almost like some kind of chemical or something got on there. It kind of did a number on that back piece. It's supposed to look like that, have the actual part number on it. So you can just make out the ghost outline of the part number there. And that's what it is. It's a 193-216. So this was a two-story pick. There was an upper level and a lower level, and I went through the lower level first, and there were a lot of tables that were laid out, and I ended up seeing this box. And this happened a lot, where I would see a box, you know, read the label or see the manufacturer's name on the box, and then open the box up and find out, oh, well, you know, unfortunately, well, gone. And so I surmised that, you know, I had been late to the party, so to speak, that a lot of people had come through and already bought quite a few of the items, and what happened was they probably bought some of the items that were like in drawers of toolboxes and things like that, or out on benches, and they weren't put away in their boxes, and then they didn't realize the box was there for whatever reason. So that was unfortunate. But what was nice about this situation here was, you know, I saw this box and I was like, oh boy, that's too bad, I wish that was in there. And I saw this paperwork and I was like, oh, well, what was in here? This or this? And then later on, I was upstairs and I was looking around and I spotted this, and I realized that's the height gauge. So I made him an offer on this, and I bought it. And then I asked him, I said, hey, I said, if you don't mind, I said, I saw the box for this, the case for this downstairs. So you mind if I get the case? And he said, yeah, sure, go ahead. So when we were packing everything up and going out, I went over and I found the case. And what's in the box here is there's a Fowler digital outside micrometer paperwork. That's useless. But there's some paperwork here. I'm not quite sure what exactly he was doing here, but it looks like he took very precise measurements on the scriber, and then he dated this and he put this in here as a finished dimension, you know, removed .096 metal. I don't know, but this appears to be the original scriber, so I don't know if he modified it. There's the clamp. This paperwork here says 2010, hand lapped. Says price $350. Micrometer setting to .001 with quick adjustment to 6 inch. Page 253 of RAL mics, catalog number 85, 1985 to 1986. I remember RAL mics. So I've got a coaxial, Blake coaxial indicator in a RAL mics case. So I don't exactly know. And then again, more. This mentions a solid carbide scriber, which I do not see, so I'm not sure what the deal is there. So this looks like a really cool height gauge. So, oh, here we go. So this is the Ralph Mike's catalog page. Yeah, there it is. So that's what he's saying. He's saying that this was $350 new out of the Ralph Mike's catalog. HG and lapped. So what does that mean? Honed, ground and lapped. Micrometer setting to 0.001 with quick adjustment over full length, over full 6-inch range to within 1,000th. So we've got a little wheel down here, and you can see I turned this knob on the top, right? And you can see this little adjustment wheel. So, and then the quick adjustment, apparently you pull this, you push this, and that releases it from the track and allows you to quick adjust it to wherever you want, which is kind of neat. So this is a really cool height gauge. So I got a really good deal on this. And then when we were getting the box, you know, I'm wondering whether or not he noticed this. Somebody put 1985, $350 on here. High precision height gauge. So I don't know if he, you know, kind of felt like he undercharged me for it or not, or what. But I paid under $100 for this. Let me just put it that way. So I don't know. I thought that Ralph Mike's was only a catalog house, and that everything they sold was actually made by somebody else, and they just badged it that way. You know, like that Blake coaxial being in a Ralph Mike's box. But I haven't been able to find any information out on this thing online. A while back there was one for sale on eBay apparently, but it was so long ago the listing doesn't even come up anymore, so I have no idea whether or not it's sold or how much it's sold for. So I don't know. I might end up having to keep this just because it might just be worth more to me than anybody else. Next up we got a pile of cheap import stuff. Let's look at these first. These are all apparently no name. Couldn't find any markings or anything to indicate the manufacturer on most of these, although that next one does say MHC. But these are parallels. I usually do okay selling these if I can buy them right. So I made him an offer of $30 on all three, and he accepted that. So, you know, even though these are just cheap imports, they're brand new. Not all of them, but like these right here, I could probably get $25 for. This next set down, these are MHC, so these are going to be import also, but they're going to be a little bit pricier when you buy them online. And what's neat about these are, it's not as big a set, but you got some of the larger ones in here. And then this is just the meticulous nature of this individual who owned this. You know, he dated it. Goes on here, describes, he's got the Etalon 1 to 2 inch 42605. So it almost looks to me like he actually made notations of which micrometer he used. And that was the other thing about this place. The reason why I realized that, hey, I was late to the party was because there were no machinist toolboxes, and there were no, there was barely any hand measurement tools, hand inspection tools. No dial calipers, not one pair in the whole place, not even so much as a vernier. That micrometer that I bought, that Mitutoyo, was like the only micrometer I found in the whole place. So I think that just got overlooked by whoever it was that was picking the place. But anyways, so these are nice precision ground parallels. So we got inch and a half, I'm sorry, 1/2 inch by 1 3/4 inch, and 1/2 inch by 1.5 inch. Oh yeah, so those are the really tall ones. So that's neat. All right. That's an interesting set. I don't know. Maybe I'll keep that set. I don't know. Oh, so the one problem with this set is the plastic molded box here is having conniptions. It doesn't want to snap clip. There we go. And what's this one? This one is a .125, September 15th, 2010. So I guess he just marked on this little piece of foam board all of the sizes that are in here. You can read them down here, but he converted all of them to decimal. And then, yeah, that's what he did. Okay. So, and that actually works out well because it's just the perfect thickness so that they don't rattle around in there when you close it so much. It's kind of neat. And these are also just no-name imports, completely unmarked, except for they do have pretty decent marking as far as the sizes on them go. So, you've even got the desiccant packages still in there, so that they're spotless. There's no rust. And again, another one of these. Now that one's not going to latch. So, there we go. That's the problem with these kind of cases sometimes. And then found these small gauge pin sets that are incomplete. This one is missing almost the entire top row. There's only 2 in that top row there, so it's missing 8 sizes. And then I found this set, which is missing a whole lot more. But then it's got a little bag in here that has spares of .058, .057, .059 apparently. So I just put the 2 of them together and paid $10 for all of these. So I think I could still maybe make $5 or $10 on this set here, which is almost complete. Probably end up selling one and junking the other. So the next item I spotted was this Federal stand. Seems like a pretty nice one. It says identify as model 2300. It's kind of funny. Instead of saying model number 2300, it says identify as model 2300. It's got a fine adjust that actually causes a little bit of a tilt. So that would be a fine adjust for the height. And then a coarse adjust, you just loosen this, set it to your rough adjustment, and then fine here. And it's got a little post on it for attaching an indicator. So somebody's got a tag on here. Looks like they wrote $249, and then I don't know what the heck that says. Digit $217, or is that .24900? I don't know. Doesn't really matter. I thought it was a neat looking stand. It's tall. It's barely doesn't even fit in frame. 19 inches overall height. It's a nice one. It's got just the 3 contact points for on the plate. So I think I gave $20 or $30 for that. And the funny thing is, you know, what's it valued at? Well, it depends on how you look at it. If you look at the 2 current ones that are available on eBay, one seller wants $220 for his plus $25.75 shipping. The other one, he wants $274.99 for his, but he's willing to take an offer, and he's $18 shipping, which that really sounds wonderful until you do what I always do, which is I look at what have they sold for. And lo and behold, there's one. Although it's a green one, it's really the same exact stand. It's just, I think it's in the earlier, I think that the Federal, the green color is the earlier color. But that's the same exact stand. And, 19 inch tall. And that sold for $35 and $13.60 shipping. So it really is only worth, you know, about 40 or 50 bucks. But I kind of like it. I might keep it. I found a couple of different gauge block sets laying around. One was a Dual. I forgot what some of the other ones were Chinese. Actually, I'm going to show some gauge pins that I ended up picking up at this pick. Some other gauge pin sets. But this one caught my eye because it's got this neat holder in it. And then upon close inspection, I realized these say CEJ, okay, which that's the initials for Carl E. Johansson. And Johansson, you know, starts with J-O. There it is right there. And the reason why you hear these gauge blocks sometimes referred to as Joe blocks is because of this guy. So this is like the guy. This is an original Joe block set with this unique holder that allows you to stack and clamp the V-blocks, the gauge blocks. So anyways, I wanted it just for this holder. It's unfortunate that it was a case. Somebody at some point removed the lid completely. I don't know why. And it is missing 4 or 5. It's missing 7 blocks. And I know that it's going to cost me a premium to buy those one at a time as they show up on eBay, if they ever do show up. And I'm not even sure what went here. But it's still a kind of cool set. And I got it for 20 bucks. So I think I still did well on this, even though it's, you know, it's dirty and it's missing parts. So this next item was sitting over in the corner of the workshop on top of a 5-drawer filing cabinet. So you can imagine how big this thing looked up in the air when you see what I've got next. And it's got some weight to it, I'll tell you that. So this is a Brown & Sharp height check, spelled H-I-T-E hyphen check, C-H-E-K. So they had kind of a playful little spelling there on height and check. And I can't quite make out when this was last calibrated. It's engraved with a number that probably had something to do with tracking it and inventory at some company. On this side there is a sticker. It goes on to say post equals 0.21700, THD equals 0.24700 20 thousandths. So I don't know what that means. Stop 0.21900. I don't know what any of this stuff means. Seems like whoever owned a lot of this stuff really was meticulous about recording data regarding it. Now, this is the mother of all height gauges. Let me give you a shot of it from a ways back. So I got to step back from the table to get this into frame, and it actually is so tall, it actually extends up above my my shop light when it's on top of the workbench over here. So from the top to the bottom to the base, it's 50 inches, 50 inches, so 4 feet 2 inches overall height. This thing is massive. So the interesting thing about this is that there is no rack or anything in this thing. It's not a rack and pinion type deal. It's basically, all you've got is, you've got a course adjustment here. You loosen this clamp, and this thing just slides up and down to a course position. And then once you've got it at your course position, there's a fine adjustment here, which essentially just acts to tilt this knob, to tilt this lever a very fine amount. And then what you're looking at here, this wheel is not part of the original setup. This is something somebody just made. I don't know for what reason. They must have been using this to touch off on something. I don't know. But this is what's supposed to be on here with this pin. to hold an indicator. As far as the value on this, I mean, that's a really good question. I was only able to find one of these that had sold on eBay, and that one had sold for $120, and it said free shipping. And I was like, oh, that's not good, because I paid over $100 for this thing. But then I realized a couple of things. First off, it was a shorter one than this. It wasn't a 50-inch. I forgot exactly how tall it was, but it was shorter than this. The second thing was, the reason why it said free shipping was because when you read the listing, it was clear that they intended to ship this via freight, and that their intention was that if you bought the item from them, they would then get you a freight quote on how much to ship it. So whoever bought that one didn't pay $120 and have it shipped to their door, no charge. They paid $120 plus whatever it cost to have it freight shipped from wherever that seller was to them. So I still think I'm okay. I do want to resell this because it's freakishly large. It would look comical on my little surface plate. It really belongs on a large surface plate somewhere. So, of course, I'm up against the same problem, which is that I got to ship it. So hopefully, maybe one of my local buyers will take an interest in it. And again, that's a brown and sharp height check. It's got this interesting wood handle on it too, and this is actually, it kind of looks kind of weird, but this is original. This is exactly how these came, because the other one I saw online had the same type of wooden handle arrangement on it.